So good morning.
Good
Good
morning.
morning. Good?
Good.
Can I get a great?
Great.
Great. Yeah, we're in week 3. We're in week 3, so let me just, I'm a little parched. For some reason, I got a little dry this morning, so. You all ready there?
Yes.
Just leave your manuals for a moment, please, while I just go through a few things.
Okay.
As soon as you're finished with your manual, put your hand up so I can start. All ready? Okay. So, how's the greatest group of realtors in the city of Calgary doing this morning?
Amazing.
Amazing.
Yeah, pretty good, hey? So, we had a couple of weeks of motivation, a little bit of entertainment, some education, some participation. You're out there working in between the classes. You know, I'll come in, I'll motivate you, educate you, entertain you, get you to participate, and I'll send you out and give you an assignment to do, right? So, when we first started out, I said there's 8 keys to success that are really important. Let's see if we remember them, okay? First one was to always give yourself a checkup from the neck up, which was to have a great attitude. And yeah, in your top producer declarations, it has the 8, and it just ends with, as a top producer, I make my client's #1 goal my #1 goal. So pretty good, right?
Yeah.
So you all have a great attitude?
Yes.
I mean, you have no choice in this business. If you have a bad attitude, you don't even realize it, but you're already on your way out.
Yeah.
And if you keep having a bad attitude, even if you pay your fees, your dues, you're already out. You're out. Because you have to have a positive attitude in real estate all the time. And sure, you're going to have your moments, but you got to learn how to still be able to move forward through adversity. You have to make adversity booster rockets. So again, the first key to success was what?
Attitude.
You got to have a good attitude because it's real estate, and you're dealing with people. So the second key to success, since we're got to have a good attitude, is to book a lot of what? Appointments. So that's your main focus. Don't let other things distract you. First of all, with attitude, don't be a pessimist. You have to be optimistic. Don't let negative things get in the way. Move past them, move up over them, around them, anything, under them, whatever it takes. Move on, right?
Yeah.
And then because you're positive, because you're motivated like that, you have to book a lot of appointments. So it wasn't appointment, it was appointments. So in your assignment, I said you got to try to book, or you should book, a minimum of how many appointments?
3.
3. And what kind?
Listing.
Seller listing appointments. Yeah, the buyers will come to you, don't worry. Once you focus on listings, don't worry, the buyers will just show up. They always do, okay? And so that's our second key to success. And that was our theme, our theme for last week's lesson, for lesson 2, was booking appointments. Proactively, I might add, but still understanding the prospecting track. Wow, that's an amazing tool. So we're going to see, you're going to give yourself a little checkup from the neck up for what you were supposed to have accomplished since last week in a moment. But I just want to remind you what the 8 keys to success are. Because today's theme, this lesson 3, is about the third key to success, with a few other things put in there, of course, right? And what's the third key to success? Do you remember?
Leads.
It was generating leads. So I'm just thinking, you got a great attitude and you're new in the business, or you want to get to the next level, maybe you don't mind being a little proactive with a great attitude, and at some point, either you know how important marketing is, or you come to appreciate it by knowing that I don't want to wake up unemployed every single day and be a secret agent. I want people to come to me for business. Who wants business to come to you? Anybody? Yeah?
Everybody.
All of you, yeah. Instead of you looking for it. But in this course, it's all about increasing your income, making more money in less what?
Time.
So you can have a lot of fun.
Yes.
So for the 8 weeks at least, even if your phone's ringing, I would still be proactive. I would just go for it. We graduate in, we're on lesson 3, so 6 weeks. And it'll go fast. You'll see that all of a sudden we're talking, like next week when we're done, it's half done. It's already half done. Doesn't it feel like we just started, sort of?
Yes.
Yeah, but after next week's class, and maybe a couple of days after, technically we'd be half done. We'd definitely be half done the lessons, because after next week it's 4 is done, and then we got 4 left. So don't wait for something. You got to make everything happen. You got to do that, okay? And the fourth key to success is mastering your presentations. That'll be next week's lesson. Will be about how to walk into a listing appointment and walk out with a listing if you choose, if you want it. Not because you have to take it. You don't have to do anything when it comes to who you're going to help. You decide who you want to help. okay? The fifth key to success is price and net. We're going to show you how you'll walk into a listing appointment and you'll follow the steps, but when you get to step 4, you're going to show them how most successful sellers pick the right price, and you're going to break it down to net so they know what to put in their pocket. And the sixth key to success is to handle objections, OHTs. Seventh key to success is business operations, so you're going to learn how to manage your business, so your business will take care of you. And the final, or the eighth key to success, is your most valuable commodity. What do you think that is?
Time.
Time management. That's right. And you know, when we started, I said there's a tremendous amount of accountability in this course. There's you know, there's a lot of little things. Do you recall that? So you have your goal or reward. You can see how important it is. I keep telling you to share it in your meetings, in your groups. I come up and ask you to show me once in a while as well. Okay? So the prospecting track is a tool I gave you last week, I think, yes?
Yes.
And I told you to put it on the wall. And how many of you did that? Show me your hands. Because that is extremely important. Here's how important it is. If you don't use it or don't have it in front of you, you have to probably talk to about 100 people to get 1 or 2 appointments. 100. If you do use it, it's 10 times better. So who wants to make more money in less time? Who's going to put it on the wall? Because if you don't, it's going to be way more work. And I'd like to talk about just for a moment again. Can I see that for a sec? So the prospecting track, you can see even laminated it. Pretty cool, eh? So this is it here. So you want to have it right on the wall, like that, wherever your computer desk is. Okay, and beside it, go look at page 2-10. Beside it was 2-10, and you may even see some notes that you wrote about what you're supposed to do for yourself. Remember, I'm only showing you what to do to make more money in less time. So 2-10 is called the close. Cha-ching. So what you should do is, let's say this is my corner desk like this. Everybody watching?
Yeah.
Now, again, this literally makes you money 10 times faster. Again, who wants that? Okay, so I will ask you next week if you've done what I've requested you did last week. I'm going to request it all the time because this is the most important thing. Other than getting excited about your life and having a goal or reward, this is the most important thing. It'd be a real shame for somebody to get on the phone and talk to somebody that probably could be a good lead, and they just talk themselves right out of the appointment. See, if somebody asks you a question on the phone, okay, they ask you, let's just review a little bit from lesson 1. If they ask you, how fast can you sell my house? What do we say on the phone?
I haven't
seen your home yet, let's get together. How much do you charge? I want to know that first. What would you say?
I haven't seen your home.
I haven't seen your house yet. What's the market like right now? Well, you can't say that, but you'd say, well, let's get together. We can discuss that while I see what your plan, talk to you about your plans and see what your home looks like. Okay, it doesn't matter what they ask. If you ever answer a question, you can probably put your lips together and kiss that one goodbye. On the phone, I mean. Because you should answer the question only in person. That's it. And if they won't meet you, you're done. Just tell them I just work with people in person. If they say, well, I just want to know a few things, you say, for me to speculate on the phone, we've been professional with me. So if you don't want us to come over and, you know, if you change your mind, call us back. So the prospecting track teaches you that. So you have it on the wall like this, and look at the close there. There's how many lines there? 2-10. I asked everybody to have 2-10 open. Make sure you have it there. As soon as you have it, put up your hand so I know. Okay, 2-10. See, how many lines is there? 5 or 6?
5.
Okay, and it says, I think it says, why don't we do this? I don't mind. I got some time where let's get together. While I'm there, I can go over whatever your fair trade item is. We gave you some fair trade items and reasons for calling.
Yeah.
And I got some time on Saturday at 1 or 2 be better. That dialogue, you need to take a piece of paper, turn it landscape, and type that as big as you can. Like that. And so this is like this. Everybody's watching? And this is like that right beside it. You won't forget. Because you'll be talking to somebody and you will get stumped. You will phone me even and you'll say, I don't know why, but I can't seem to close. I'll say, did you put the close on the wall? And you'll probably say, no, I didn't. And what do you think I'll say?
Put it on the wall.
Why? You know, like, no, seriously, these little things, remember it started, the very first one was, did you bring the confirmation letter? And everybody didn't read the email, so I said, I feel a little caution in the wind already, because we're already starting out on the wrong whatever, right? But you guys really picked it up, I must admit. I saw, you know, all the goals and rewards are laminated. I think you even brought the letter the second lesson. We didn't need it then, but I'm glad you did. And now it's a matter of, you put this on here, and you put that over there, and then you start calling people if you want to be proactive. Or maybe you're getting some pay-per-click leads, or making it rain from KV Core, or something like that, right? So you get a lead come to your inbox, what are you going to do with it? You're going to phone them, aren't you?
Right.
Yeah. So if you're going to phone them, you would start with this. And you'd say their name, yes? And then you'd introduce yourself. And then you'd ask if they want to sell or eliminate them. You recall that?
Yeah.
And if you get a yes or a no, what's the next thing you do?
Give a reason.
It's just right here. You see it, right?
Give a reason.
You give a reason. And if you get a yes or a weak yes, then you just look down at the open-ended questions and you start asking the questions.
Yeah.
You get them to talk. You don't ask question 5 unless you can tell that they're running out of time. But you ask the first 4 questions or something similar, and you let them talk. And as soon as they direct the question back to you or a comment back to you, you say, and you use a fair trade item to close. You just say, oh, well, that's a good question, or I understand your concern. So let's do this. And you look at your close, and you say, well, why don't I do this? I don't mind. I can come by, and I can bring and you say your fair trade item, right?
Yeah.
And then you close, cha-ching. And then they say,
Cha-ching.
if they say yes, then you bona fide the appointment if it's a seller. And we gave you the bona fide appointment checklist.
Yeah.
Then you send your pre-list brochure, which I'm going to tell you about in a moment. You're going to courier it over there, or you're going to mail it. You're not going to hand deliver it, just so everyone's clear.
Yeah.
And then you're going to get ready for your appointment. If they say no, they don't want to meet you on Saturday, then you try to close one more time, 2 more times if you have to.
Cha-ching.
You'll say, well, if Saturday doesn't work, I can still bring the comparables. I can even bring a forecast of what the market's doing from the board, and I could come on Monday, or would Tuesday be better? And if they say no again, then maybe a third time you try to tentatively book something, and don't try more than 3, because then you're just pushing. So if you have that on the wall, you won't forget to stay on track, ask the open-ended questions, offer a fair trade item, close, to change, bona fide the appointment, send your pre-list. You won't forget. That's yours, hey? It's yours. Yeah. So, and yeah, if you want to laminate it, sure. You definitely want to have your goal or reward laminated. You definitely, it's optional, but you can laminate your prospecting track in the close.
Cha-ching.
And have it on the wall. Right. So, let's see here. Commitment, accountability. You guys aren't doing too bad. I just have to keep getting you to the next level. And you guys are with me, yes?
Yes.
You give me permission to do this to you?
Yes.
Get you to do some things you're not used to, even some things you think you don't want to do, but I'm going to get you to do them so you can become the realtor that you want to be. Yes?
Yes.
Wow. There's a story. Like I'm a hockey coach too, and I've coached a lot of youths and all that kind of stuff. And if anybody's familiar with hockey, I mean, you're here and you probably see hockey all the time, and NHL hockey games, or people that's in Calgary, there'll be people who play hockey and stuff like that. Just imagine if you were at a hockey practice and your kids are there, and it's 16, 18, maybe even 20, 10 or 11-year-olds, pee-wee, practicing, and they have a coach and a couple of assistant coaches. And you're a parent, let's say, and you're just on the side and you're watching. And the coaches get them all to line up on the red line at the center ice. And they get them to do some sort of exercise, maybe a stretching thing right at the center line. They're all spaced out. And the coaches are right in front of them. There's one here, and the kids are right there. And there's kids are over here, and there's another coach there, and there's another coach there. And they say, okay, we want you to do this stretching exercise. Go. And right in front of the coaches, if there's 16 or 18 kids on the team, how many of them do you think would listen to the coach because he's right here? How many of them? All of them probably, right? Yeah. They wouldn't get away with it if they didn't. If one just sat there, the coach would say, hey, come on, let's go. Let's go. And then imagine if the coaches went back maybe to the blue line. Back to the blue line. They're this far away. But the kids can still see them. There's a good chance most of them almost all of them would still do that exercise, that stretching exercise. Would you agree?
Yes.
Maybe one or two that kind of hesitate, thinking, oh, they're watching still, okay, I better do it, right? But now imagine if the coaches go to the back red line, the goal line, and they turn their backs. And all the kids are back there, and they say, go. How many do you think all of them will do it?
No.
There'll be a couple that will go, right? And what if the coaches just said, listen, we're going to go into a meeting, and we want you to take control and get the stretching done. Even Les would do it, yes?
Yeah.
Probably the captains would do it, would you agree?
Yes.
That's a story, if I remove the word hockey and kids, that's a story of you with me in front of you. And when I leave into the blizzard, right, then are you going to do it? That's the question. You know, so this is, see, it's a little different in one sense because I'm just the facilitator, I'm just the messenger. I'm just showing you how to be successful. Being successful is on you. Would you agree?
Yes.
Yeah. So it's a little different with the kids, of course. Well, I guess they didn't want to do anything. They just get kicked off the team, right? I don't usually see anybody get kicked off of these teams. But I guess you never know, right? So let's see here. So let's see. Why don't you turn to the last page in your book, or last page in lesson 2, excuse me. And let's see if you used your checklist. Remember, I say every week I give you a weekly activity sheet. Your objective before I see you again is to always check off your checklist. Okay, so what's the first one on there? Go to work, go to the office, or go to work. The word office means work.
Yeah.
I don't care where you go. You can, you know, don't be so technical on that, if you know what I mean. If you didn't go to an office but you worked, it still counts. So if you worked at least 5 days, check it off. Do that right now, okay? Don't get ahead of me here. Let's stay on track together. If you booked 3 listing appointments, check it off, okay? And then if you kept track of your stats on page A7, okay, check it off. If you got your stats in on time today by 9:30 and your captain signed it and gave it back to you a few minutes later, then check that off. Okay, and what's the next thing on there?
Add another 25 names.
If you added another 25 names to your list, check it off. And the next thing?
Reproduce the possible cost of waiting.
Yeah, if you have the costs of waiting, show me please, and then check it off. So we got a few there, good. And that's for you to be able to use. You're gonna put it in the back of your listing presentation. For anybody that says they wanna wait, that's a fair trade item you can offer on the phone. We just wanna wait 6 months. Okay, no problem. Why don't we do this? I don't mind. I got some time where I can come by. While I'm there, I can go over the costs of waiting. This way you can find out exactly when you should move forward or not. I will even bring some of the comps in the area, just in case you want to talk about that. And I got some time, I could see you on Saturday at 1 or 2 be better. Just as simple as that. You don't have to make it long-winded. You can make it more personalized, I guess, but the words are pretty well the same, you know, with voice inflection, I mean. But if you don't have it printed off, I would be concerned, because that's going to help you get more listing appointments, okay? And what's the next thing on the list?
Maintain your bona fide appointment checklist.
Yeah, so if you got your prospecting track, you already checked that off because I told you I gave it to you. So how many of you checked it off? Yeah, you all checked it off. And I should have said you only should check it off if you put your prospecting track on the wall. So if you haven't, I would probably circle that one and know that you need to revisit that. And what's the next one?
Reproduce your FSBO 8 reasons.
Yeah, so show me your for sale by owner 8 reasons. So you got yours there. Captains both got it. That's good. And a couple other people do. That's good. Yes. Okay. Next.
Create the visuals of your fair trade.
And I told you to check that off because they're in the back of your book now. Okay. And next.
Schedule a minimum of 1 day off.
And if you took a day off, check it off. And then next.
Listen to lesson 2 audio at least 3 times.
So who listened to it more than 3 times? Okay. And if you didn't, you're missing out on over 50% of the program that you paid for.
Yeah.
Over 50%. And I know it's the same information, but it's repeating itself enough that you don't have to remember so hard. It'll just be natural for you. And the next thing?
Follow Dwayne Groom on Facebook.
And the next thing? And
Complete a task and print off your home rental guide.
yeah, show me your home rental guides, because I told you we all need it for this week. Okay, you got yours, you got yours. Everybody's got yours, good, good. And we're gonna talk about the home rental guide, and you're gonna take a few notes. Now, if I may say this, I'm not gonna point out anybody specifically. I kinda got a feel For who didn't even look at that sheet since last week? I could just tell how you're reacting, but I'm not gonna say any names. You really need to turn back into yourself and say, how much of this did you at least try to do? If you didn't, if you just like put the book away and just, didn't do any of that stuff, didn't bring anything needed, you're probably gonna struggle with your income. Your income will struggle, it'll probably take away at least 50% of what you could do. So it really comes down to, remember, believing that the little things are what's gonna help you to make more money in less time so you can have more fun. All right?
Yes.
Okay, so, and if somebody needs to talk to me privately, they're just noticing that, I don't know why, as soon as I leave the room, I just kind of like forget everything. I go, well, let's find a way that you can remind yourself to stay on track. If somebody says, I'm new, so, like, how many of you would like to learn bad habits and then have to be untrained later to come back to this? Nobody, right? Even if you're new, wouldn't you like to learn the good habits right off the bat?
Yes.
It's gonna make money faster. All right, so anyways, today we're going to go over the following. I'm gonna go over the pre-list, package or brochure. I'm gonna probably go into that for a bit before we take a break. I'm gonna talk to you about how to generate leads. How to get leads in your inbox or how to get your phone to ring today. I believe the best way for us to do business is for them to come to us.
Yes.
And we can say, I think when I'm teaching proactive activities that we did last week, I can get the attention of a realtor when I say, how many of you would like to find leads without having to pay any money? And let's see a show of hands. Okay? But you have to put in some time and effort. And you have to put up with a lot of rejection. So you have to cold call. Okay, actually what we said last week, you have to get involved in the community. So you have to physically do stuff. What was number 2? Do you remember? I think it was door knock, right? Number 2, you have to door knock. So that takes time and effort, and you get a lot of no's. People slam the door in your face, some people won't even be nice. The odd person will be nice, and the odd person might be a lead, and if you're optimistic, it's worth it. And you don't have to pay anything for that, but you have to work past the rejection, and you have to get motivated on your own. And honestly, think about it. If you're sitting in the office here, and you knew you had to motivate yourself to go out and door knock for an hour, or pay $10 for a lead to come in on your computer, which would you pick? Oh, really? You'd go door knock every day for your whole career.
No.
Well, wouldn't you prefer to have leads come to you even if you had to pay for them?
Yes.
If somebody says that I'm going to go proactive for my whole career and never pay for leads, give them just maybe a year and they'll quit because they'll be exhausted. They'll say, I don't like this. This is no fun. But when you're new or you're trying to get to the next level, you can be motivated enough to do it for a while. But you won't do it year after year after year. I can tell you that right now. So you don't want to fool yourself. So today we're going to show you how to get some leads. We're going to wrap up the proactive stuff by talking about open houses. I'm coaching this lady. She's been in real estate a long time. And she told me she did an open house the other day. And she had like 18 people come through.
Yeah.
And I said, great. You got a couple leads to follow up on? She goes, no, I didn't get any of them. I said, oh, well, no, she took some of my, she took my training. It was online though, but I think she wasn't present while I was teaching a lot. And she didn't listen to the audio tracks. And she didn't watch any recordings of anything she missed, like some webinars or anything. So she didn't even know what I taught you today. And when I told her on the phone 2 days ago when she was doing her coaching session with me, she was like, what? I mean, I can't believe how simple it is what you just told me, and I didn't even try any of that, and I didn't get, and she lost all her leads.
Yeah.
And would you want that to happen to you?
No.
No.
So, you want to commit to the little things that I'm talking about. So, and she did get an offer from another realtor, so, sometimes when a realtor gets a little bit of success on one side, they don't pay attention to some of the little things, and she could have got not just one more deal, but maybe 3 or 4.
Yeah.
Not just one. The listing says she could have got a whole bunch more. We're also going to talk about how to convert, like how many of you would like your phone to ring with people saying I want to buy or sell? Now remember, you have to pay for that. People don't call you. Now they will call you if you got a listing, but usually you have to pay for that lead to get the listing. And then when you get yard signs up, people will call. Wouldn't it be a shame to not be able to convert that call into a face-to-face meeting?
Yeah.
Every time somebody calls you, it's the equivalent of you knocking on or talking to about 10 people. It's like 10 times better. I always say 5 times for the numbers game, I mean, but if it's really about 10 times. It's incredible. If somebody calls you, you should almost be like, oh, thank you. Somebody phoned, I don't even have to prospect today if I just convert this one. And that can happen within 5 minutes and you can take the rest of the day off. Wouldn't that be great? And some people are killing themselves doing this half a day and this the other half. And some people, one of the biggest time wasters in the history of real estate is people surfing the internet, trying to find the next little, little thing to get leads. And they do it for hours and hours on end. So just stay away from that. Okay, and also today we're going to show you how to bona fide the buyer appointment also. So I hope you're having the time of your life right now. And if you do find it quite challenging, just remember that you just have to have that never quit attitude. Does that make sense? Okay? Well, I think the biggest concern I have is you looking at your weekly activities and seeing if you put in the effort. And if you didn't, I would be personally concerned for you because you really need to check those off or at least try, okay? So we did our stats, so let's get into lesson 3, shall we?
Yes.
So we're going to talk about the
Ooh.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, it's that important that you go, oh, what's he got for us now? Isn't that right? So this is going to help you sell yourself in advance. The pre-listing package. And there's a number of different ways we could do that. So just imagine we're on the phone. Somebody wants to sell their house. Let's pretend that it doesn't matter if you reached out to them and they said yes, or they called you and said, we want to sell. Okay, it doesn't matter. But you're on the phone talking to them, and you're staying on track. Now, imagine you booked the appointment, and you bona fide it. Okay, the bona fide appointment checklist from last week. All right? Okay? And then you say, I'm going to send you something. It's a little bit about myself and my company. If you can please read it or look it over, it'll save us time on our appointment. And most times they'll say, sure, that's fine. And the best way to get it over there is by mail or courier. Okay? And there's probably 3 or 4 different kinds of packages we could send. If you're doing, let's say, a big or an upper end home, like worth $3 or $4 million, if you're doing one of those, it would make sense if you're going to do this probably to send a portfolio. You could have a leather binder, and you could have the items that I'm going to bring up are ideas of what you can put in there. And you could courier that over, and they would be pretty impressed. Would you agree? Imagine if they open the door and a courier says, here, this is from Peter, and they say your name and they say your company, they say this is from Peter, and da-da-da, and da-da-da. And they go, oh, thank you. And you had already told them to take a look at it, it'll save us time on our appointment. And the appointment may be another couple of days for all we know, right? And they sit down and they start flipping through this thing. Laminated pages with certain things that I'm going to mention on the screen here in a second. Or let's say, and when you make a portfolio like that, you're probably going to want to take it back. So you'll probably say that I'm going to send you something to look over, and I got a few things I'll leave with you, But anyways, that's the portfolio. So hopefully you made a note of that. Remember, on the left side of your book, please take really good notes. And the other type would be a booklet. You could create a booklet, a pre-listing booklet, right? Maybe it's 10 pages, and you can just get one of those machines, that makes those perforations on the page, kind of like the team booklet. Somebody have a team booklet there somewhere? Yeah, just like that. Make a booklet like that. Just hold that up again so they can see. Make a booklet like that. Everybody seen that? And you would just put in some of the items that I mentioned. And you should also make a brochure. Put down that you're going to make a trifold brochure. Trifold brochure. In a trifold brochure, should send with your portfolio so they can keep it. You should send it with your booklet so they can keep it. Or if you don't want to do a booklet or you don't want to do a portfolio, then at least do a trifold brochure with enough information that it'll save time on the appointment. And what you do is when you book the appointment, you bona fide it, and then you let them know you're going to send a little brochure about our company and ourselves. Please read it. It'll save us time, and there'll also be a confirmation letter about our appointment. So make a note of that. That will go with your trifold brochure. And the confirmation letter, you're just going to say, it was a pleasure talking to you, looking forward to meeting you, and you put where, when, time. So make a note of that, where, when, time. See this right here? Or when, where, time, everyone sees this? Everybody look up here so I can go back over there. Everybody's looking? When, where, time. So you say, pleasure meeting you, looking forward to seeing you. When? Saturday, you know, October, whatever. Where? Put their address, time, 1 o'clock. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yes.
And then you put your signature on the bottom, right? And what's in your signature? Your name,
Or your name, your number,
your number, maybe your email or your website and your company, right?
email. Yeah.
So it's your company letterhead. So is this a long-winded letter I'm talking about? No.
No.
It's a brochure about you and your company, accompanied by a letter confirming the appointment.
Yeah.
So let's say you book an appointment, and it's for Saturday. Today's what? Wednesday.
Wednesday.
So I courier you over a package, like today, right? Now, if I talk to them on the phone, and we've booked the appointment, and then I sent a letter, a package with a letter and a brochure, and in the letter it says, again, I'll see you at 1 o'clock on Saturday. Do we need to contact them again before we go? What do you think?
No.
No? Is that a no? Anybody else? So, I mean, how many of you think we might have to phone the night before to make sure they're still good for the meeting?
Yeah.
Okay? Okay, remember, mark this down. Don't ever, ever do that again, ever in your life. Okay? Never. Did everyone write that down? As soon as you did, put your hand up. Okay? Got that?
You should never ask them the night before.
Don't follow.
No, they'll just give you an opportunity to cancel.
Bang on.
If you don't believe me, phone the night before. Every time you'll see that 50 to 60% cancel on you. So don't do it. And why do you have to do it? Did you book the appointment on the phone with them?
Yeah.
Did you send a letter that literally says it?
Yeah.
So there's no reason to call the night before. Okay? If they're not going to want to see you, they'll call you. Otherwise, you just go. So let's see what's going to be in this pre-listing package. So make a note of this. This is to sell yourself in advance. All right? Sell yourself in advance. So there's two components. The first component is a little bit about your background. So you don't have to do everything that I have here, but if you want, you can come up with a mission statement yourself. You could put some information or some photos or something of your family. You could. You could add some experience in there. If you don't have any experience, then don't do that. I mean, what I'm saying is only put in your strengths. So if you're brand new, don't put in your brand new. If they ask you, you'll tell them. I'll tell you what to do with that in a minute. But let's just go over what we could put inside of there. We could put a little bit about any articles or press releases or anything that some people have written you, positive testimonials, things like that on the internet or on your website. You could put in courses taken. I'm going to give you a certificate for this course. It says you took a course for 8 weeks in advanced listing and sales techniques to help people. So it's a good tool to have. And you want to make sure they can tell you're licensed. There's, unfortunately, there's a lot of people that are not licensed that are going around trying to help people sell their houses, and you're supposed to be a realtor to do that.
Yeah.
And they have little signs out saying we buy houses and all this kind of stuff. Now when they buy it themselves, that's legal, but when they're helping somebody else buy it, that's illegal. And so there's a lot of that going on. So you'll notice that there's some questions that the Canadian Real Estate Association says